Hello. Hello. Um, all right. It is now Thursday. It's actually Wednesday. You guys are so smart. You're always like, did you film that yesterday? Did you do that on Sunday? How did you know what the weather was going to be like? I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, you can see it is Wednesday at 3 o'clock, just about. And I am thinking about the day and how things went today. And what I was thinking about for tomorrow is not really going to work. So I'm changing it, and I'm glad I didn't make all this time to plan stuff out way in advance, because it's, you know, I see it one way and then it happens that it doesn't exactly go the way I was imagining it to. And that's okay, because we're all human and we all do what we do. All right. So what I want to show you is what I believe you're going to be working on Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, however long it takes you. Well, cohort A and cohort B are going to have different time frames, but it's still, I'll show you what I mean. So you have right now, as of hopefully today, fingers crossed, you've written an essay. Your essay was either about each kindness, it was about chrysanthemum, or is it about those shoes? You wrote about a character trait, you wrote about the change that the character has, you wrote about the lesson that the character might have learned. Great. Maybe right now you are still working on that. It is what it is. This time, I'm going to have you write another one. Some of you are done. Some of you turned in your essay, or you were ready to turn it in. And I was like, no, what? There's just too many people who haven't turned it in. Hold on to it and bring it on Monday. That was cohort A. But today, there's going to be kids that are going to be done, and I'm going to collect them. And so what I want from you is to start another short essay. This essay is going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You'll have 3 paragraphs, an introduction, a main body, and a conclusion. This essay is going to have the title and the author, and your big idea mentioned in your introduction, and maybe even some little background about what the story is about. It's going to have 3 examples that are going to show us what your big idea is and how it's supported. And you're going to maybe explain why those things that you're putting in the essay are important, right? All of that makes perfect sense. Your conclusion, you're going to restate your big idea. You're going to tell the readers either, and look, there's a fun twist, or this is why this story is so important, or we can learn from the story. All right? But here's what's going to be different. I want your essay now to have a deeper big idea. So you're no longer going to do like Jeremy was jealous and Chloe was mean and Maya was shy, and I want you to go deeper. So here's how you might do that. I'm going to show you examples from those shoes, because I think I would rather that you not use those shoes if you can't. If there's a way that you could not use that, I would appreciate it. Because we've kind of like used that. We have all these other stories. All right? This time, I want you to maybe think about 2 character traits instead of 1. So here's what I mean. Jeremy is sometimes selfish and sometimes generous. Is there something that you can say about Lily? Think about it. Is Lily kind of a couple of different things? In Lily's big day when she wants to be the flower girl, she's a little pushy. She's pretty confident, but then she's also helpful. Like things like that. All right. Can you give a second way to deepen your idea? Can you give a stronger character trait? So like, instead of saying that Jeremy is jealous, or Chloe is mean, or Maya is nice, how about Jeremy is desperate for those shoes? That's deeper. So you can look at the character chart with the traits to maybe get some ideas, but you can also ask. You can also, have some conversation with your families about this. You're looking for a really meaty character trait, okay? Or your third possible way to deepen your big idea is to write this whole essay about what the whole story was supposed to teach us. What the story is supposed to teach us. Not necessarily what the character learns, but what we are supposed to learn. It might be that this story teaches us that shoes aren't as important as friends. One time that we see that is when. Another time that we see that is when. Think about it, Jeremy, when in those shoes, Where do we learn? Where does the story teach us that shoes aren't as important as friends? It's like when, for example, everybody was laughing at Jeremy about his shoes, except for Antonio. There's an example of when we are learning right there. Wow, Antonio doesn't care about shoes. He just wants to be friends with Jeremy. So you have to really think deeply. This is like comprehension way beyond what you were doing in the beginning of third grade. We're heightening our understanding of stories now. All right, so I want you to try your best. Of course, you always try your best to start working on an essay. You're going to think about these stories, these 4 stories, and then you're going to choose one. And you're going to start planning out what you think is the big idea, or what you think are 2 character traits, or how you can go deeper with at least what you want to say about this character. And then I want you to start planning out what you're gonna work on. For those of you who are at home, you have the stories right at your fingertips. For those of you who are at school, you just tell me which one you want, and I'll get a copy for you. All right? This is due. If you don't turn it in next week, I'm not going to accept it the week after break. So it's due next week. So on Tuesday, cohort A, that's their last day next week, they're going to turn it in to me. On Thursday, cohort B will be here. That's their last day before break. They're going to turn it in to me. Do not turn it in to me after that. I'm like, no. It's just, okay, so focus. Remember that quote. I told most of you about it today. And for those of you who maybe are at home, you decide how far you can go. You decide that. How far am I going to go with learning? How far am I going to go with running? How far am I going to go with learning an instrument or playing baseball or whatever it is that you want to do, or with my friendship or saving my money or planning out my future, like whatever it is. How far do you want to go? You decide. It's the effort that you're going to put into it that's going to get you where you want to be. And you're not trying to just, be mediocre. You're trying to be the best of the best at your stuff. Be your best, not comparing to everybody else, because to compare is to despair, but you're trying to be your best of your best. See you on the flippy flop.